My teacher told me not to worry about spelling because in the future we'll have autocorrect, and for that I'm eternally grateful.
Hi there, my name's James and on a mission to support first-time dads. I've got 3 myself, my oldest is 30 and the youngest is 7, so I've got a little bit of experience. Thanks to ChatGPT, I've managed to find out the 10 questions or 10 topics most being researched by first-time dads in 2025. This is the first in a 10-part series where hopefully I'm going to try and support people by answering those questions. Why is my newborn crying in the middle of the night? I'd like to put the disclaimer in first that I'm not a medical professional or a health visitor or a midwife, but I am a dad and I have done this 3 times, so I've got a bit of experience. But if you're ever genuinely concerned about the welfare of your child, then go and get some professional advice. That said, looking at the list that ChatGPT gave me, I have to say it's pretty accurate based on my experience. Reason number 1 your newborn might be crying in the middle of the night is they're hungry. The thing I found about newborn babies is often it's a matter of eliminating things. So you start with a bit of a checklist, then you work through it. And the first one I found with most things when it comes to children, especially very new children, is they're often hungry. So if your child's waking up in the night, maybe see if they want some milk. Because they're hungry is statistically the most obvious reason. Reason number 2, they've got a dirty nappy. It makes sense. If you're hungry, you'll wake up. If you're in a dirty nappy, irrespective of your age, would you be able to sleep in it? Probably not. So if you've offered them some milk and they're not interested, job 2, check the nappy. And the third most common reason is just a need for comfort. I'm often woken in the middle of the night because one of my kids is having a nightmare and can't get back to sleep. It really helped me when I just started thinking of my newborn babies as just mini people. And therefore they're very similar in the way they think and feel to adults. Babies often wake up just because they want some closeness, some warmth, or some reassurance. So if they're not hungry, they're not sitting in a dirty nappy, they might just want to cuddle. And apparently the 4th reason, gas or trapped wind. I found that with each of our children, every time I gave them a bottle, you then had a fairly elaborate session of jiggling them on your shoulder, or tapping their back, in a very specific way to each child so they can burp. They've often got an annoying bubble of wind, which is probably really painful and stopping them feeling relaxed enough to go back to sleep. The only thing I can say that I'm hoping might reassure you is that you will become an expert, largely out of necessity, on how to soothe your baby. And the 5th reason, apparently overtiredness. If your newborn baby is awake for too long, they can become fussy and hard to settle. But again, and I don't know how reassuring this is, probably if you might be watching this in the middle of the night, praying that I might be giving you some gem of knowledge that will get your child back to sleep. Your child is a unique snowflake, even if that's an albeit noisy, potentially quite unreasonable, red-faced, screaming one. But they're your red-faced, screaming, unreasonable snowflake. When it comes to overtiredness, quite often I found a change of scenery. I go through the checklist of are they hungry, have they got a dirty nappy, have they got wind, are they scared? And I found sometimes going into a different room that's still quite dark and warm and comforting, and either singing them a lullaby or just jiggling on my shoulder, patting them, giving them a cuddle, often calm them down enough to go back to sleep. And apparently the 6th most common reason is temperature. They might be too hot or too cold. This is quite a difficult one to work out because obviously a newborn baby can't speak. But if you pick them up and they feel cold or they feel very sweaty, that might be an indicator that you need to either put some more clothes on or take some clothes off. And apparently the 7th most common reason, startle reflex. Newborn babies often sometimes jerk themselves awake and can cry from even the smallest noises, the sound of gurgling pipes in the walls, the sound or light of a notification on your phone. I've certainly had those dreams where I feel like I'm falling and my body suddenly jerks me awake. Well, I imagine it's the same thing for a newborn baby. And apparently reason number 8 is just part of their normal newborn baby sleep cycle. I certainly remember moments where our child might gurgle or cry or grumble during their sleep and they just go back to sleep. The one thing I reassure you will be the case is that you will become the expert on your baby. You will learn their language. You will know exactly when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're tired, when they're not tired, when they're hungry. And I found that working my way through this sort of piss off. And I found that working my way through this checklist often was the most helpful way of getting my baby back to sleep. I really hope you got something from this video. And sorry for the incoming shameless plug. But if you're about to become a parent, we've just become a parent or just like to read a book about someone becoming a dad, why not treat yourself to my book? I'll put the link in the description. And if you'd like to help me support brand new dads by answering the 5 most searched questions online in regards to becoming a dad, please let me know in the comments. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're okay. Take care.
When you're a parent, well, you know there's gonna be an endless list of jobs to do. You'll try washing with soap and bleach and lava, but your hands will always smell of someone's poo. And when I've done 500 jobs, it just gets replaced with 500 more. I'd like to be a man who gets to sleep in his bed, not someone else's floor. I'm exhausted, but apparently not as tired as my wife. I'm exhausted, but I wouldn't change a thing about my life.
Why do horses have such low divorce rates? They have stable relationships.